In the summer of 1982, in sunny Spain, the England team, under the guidance of coach Ron Greenwood, thrilled the fans of the foggy country when they returned to the World Cup arena after a long absence of 12 years. It was a strange tournament, where the Three Lions wrote a story that was both heroic and regretful. They were unbeaten in all 5 matches, conceding only 1 goal, but still had to pack their bags and go home after the second group stage. With a generation of talented players, combining seasoned experience and intense youth, the style of play of the England team that year was a blend of iron discipline of the defense and moments of individual brilliance. They left the tournament without losing a single match, leaving an unfinished legacy that haunted an entire generation. But behind those glorious and regretful moments on the field are people with very unique fates. More than 40 years have passed, and cruel time has carved indelible marks on their lives. Some have become immortal legends, some have sunk into personal tragedies, and sadly, some of those heroes have stopped their journeys forever. Let's calm our hearts to look deeply into the ups and downs of those historical witnesses. Paul Mariner, a symbol of strength and endurance in the Three Lions attack in 1982. In the England squad at that time, Mariner was not the flashiest name, but he was a real warrior, a soul in the attack. At the age of 29, with an ideal height and the ability to sweep, he was the classic English striker, strong, not afraid of collision, and always knowing how to appear at the right time. Mariner himself scored the opening goal of the 1982 World Cup campaign against France, creating an important mental boost for the whole team. And on the Spanish pitch, he appeared as a diligent hunter, working tirelessly throughout the 450 minutes of official play. Away from the glory of the 1982 World Cup, Paul Mariner continued to have years of steadfast dedication to Arsenal and then Portsmouth. But the most interesting turning point in his life was when he decided to cross the ocean to America. In the new land, Mariner not only played but also became a football ambassador, turning to coaching. He spent most of his life after retirement nurturing football at New England Revolution, and then returned to England to coach Plymouth Argyle. His life was full of travel, a hearty smile, and a pure love of football. People often saw him on commentary programs with a cheerful, optimistic demeanor, a man who always seemed to find joy in every match. There is an uncanny resemblance between Mariner on the pitch and Mariner off the pitch. While on the pitch, he is the one who always rushes to the front line, enduring collisions to create space for his teammates. Off the pitch, he also lives a life full of passion and dedication until the last days. He is a silent hero who always puts the collective before his own ego. However, that passionate journey had to stop suddenly and tragically. On July 9, 2021, Paul Mariner passed away at the age of 68 after a short but fierce battle with brain cancer. His departure left a huge void, not only for his family but also for the football community on both sides of the ocean. The legacy he left behind was not only the goal against France that year, but also the optimistic smile that inspired many generations of young players. Mick Mills arrived at the 1982 World Cup at the age of 33, an age when maturity and experience had reached their peak. With the official captain Keegan injured, Mick Mills took on the captain's armband, becoming a solid spiritual support for the whole team. As a hard-working fullback, he did not play with flamboyance but with absolute composure and discipline. During 5 matches, Mills commanded the defense to keep 4 clean sheets, an impressive achievement, making him the most reliable rock in front of Peter Shilton's goal. After that tournament, Mick Mills continued to play top-flight football for a few more years before moving into coaching. He led Stoke City, Colchester United, and Birmingham City. However, unlike his illustrious playing career at Ipswich Town, his coaching career was not as brilliant. He chose a quieter life after leaving the coaching chair, becoming a scout and then a technical analyst. Mills' personal life was as peaceful as his playing style. No scandals, no noise. He was the model of an exemplary family man, devoted to his wife and children and absolutely loyal to Ipswich Town Club, where he was considered a living legend. Mick Mills' composure on the pitch seems to have translated perfectly into his life. He doesn't need the limelight to shine. Instead, he chooses to contribute quietly and steadily. In an increasingly chaotic and commercialized football world, Mills still retains the essence of a classic English football gentleman, responsible, loyal, and humble. Today, in his 70s, Mick Mills continues to lead a quiet and respected life, regularly appearing as an ambassador for Ipswich Town and as an insightful commentator on local radio. His journey is a testament to the value of perseverance and loyalty, a beacon of light to the core values of the game. Peter Shilton at the 1982 World Cup was a legend at the peak of his powers. At the age of 32, he had overtaken Ray Clemence to take the #1 spot in goal. Shilton was more than just a goalkeeper. He was an impregnable fortress. With his superb reflexes and command of the defense, he only conceded 1 goal in the entire tournament. The image of Shilton's soaring in goal became a nightmare for opposing strikers, confirming his status as one of the greatest goalkeepers in history. Shilton's post-1982 career was incredibly long. He continued to be a reliable stopper for England through the 1986 World Cup, where he was a victim of the hand of God in 1990. He played professionally until the age of 47, setting a world record with over 1,000 official matches. However, Shilton's life off the pitch was not smooth. He once publicly admitted to a 45-year battle with gambling addiction, a demon that nearly destroyed his life and family. But with the courage of a goalkeeper who never gave up, Shilton successfully kicked the addiction and became an inspiration, helping those in similar situations. The bond between Shilton on and off the pitch is one of incredible resilience. On the pitch, he was alone between the goalposts to protect the net. Off the pitch, he was also alone in his battle with himself to protect his family's happiness. The tenacity that helped him play until he was nearly 50 years old was also the strength that helped him overcome the quagmire of vices to find the light again. Today, in his 70s, Peter Shilton remains active in the media and social scene. He has found peace with his second wife and regularly warns against the dangers of gambling. His legacy is not just about his spectacular saves, but also about falling down and getting back up again. Ray Wilkins, affectionately known as Butch, arrived at the 1982 World Cup at just 25 years old but already had the demeanor of a midfield master. He was the soul of the Three Lions play, setting the tempo with short, long passes that were precise to the millimeter. Wilkins played with his head held high, with a leisurely and elegant demeanor, representing a rare technical beauty in England's then physical style of play. Despite being sent off in a later match at the 1986 World Cup, in 1982, Wilkins was the embodiment of composure and class. After the tournament, Wilkins' career continued to flourish when he played for famous clubs such as Manchester United, AC Milan, PSG, and Rangers. After hanging up his boots, he became one of the most beloved coaches and commentators in England. Wilkins is famous for his role as assistant coach at Chelsea, where he is respected by the players as a father and uncle. His personal life, although sometimes troubled by the law and health, is always surrounded by the love of colleagues and fans. He always appears with a gentle smile, a warm voice, and sharp, humane analysis. Ray Wilkins was a lovely paradox, a tough warrior on the pitch, but a gentle gentleman off the pitch. His elegance in playing reflected his artistic soul and his kind heart towards everyone around him. He was the connector, the glue that held together the groups he passed through. However, cruel fate took away that talented man too soon. On April 4, 2018, Ray Wilkins passed away at the age of 61 after a sudden heart attack that led to a coma. His passing shocked and saddened the entire football world. His legacy was not only his beautiful falling yellow leaves passes, but also a lesson in kindness and compassion in the harsh world of football. Trevor Francis arrived in Spain in 1982 as the first English player to be transferred for a then-record £1 million. At 28, Francis had the weight of a nation on his shoulders, and he did not disappoint. With blistering pace and superb individual technique, Francis scored 2 crucial goals in the group stage, including a delicate finish against Czechoslovakia. He was a dangerous striker, providing a breakthrough for England's attack whenever things got stuck. Francis's career has been a fascinating journey. He was one of the few English players to have enjoyed great success in Italy with Sampdoria, before returning to England to play for Rangers, QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. After retiring, Francis turned to coaching, leading Sheffield Wednesday and Birmingham City to domestic cup finals. Francis's private life is quite private. He suffered a great loss when his beloved wife Helen died of cancer in 2017, a shock that led him to become more private in later years. Perhaps the pressure of the £1 million contract has forged a Francis who is both brave and thoughtful. On the field, he is as explosive as he is quiet in real life. He is the model of a star who knows how to keep his feet on the ground, living humbly despite being constantly sought after by the media. But then, once again, sad news struck English football fans. On July 24, 2023, Trevor Francis breathed his last at his apartment in Spain due to a heart attack. At the age of 69, his passing was the final farewell of the £1 million boy of the year, leaving behind regret for a natural talent and a great personality. Bryan Robson, England's burning fighting spirit at the 1982 World Cup. At just 25 years old, Robson played with the style of a future leader and made his mark with one of the fastest goals in World Cup history, scoring against France after just 27 seconds. He was the perfect box-to-box midfielder, tirelessly attacking and defending, tackling fiercely and possessing lightning shots. At that year's tournament, Robson was likened to the Three Lions' perpetual engine, carrying a raging fighting spirit. After the 1982 World Cup, Bryan Robson became a great legend of Manchester United with the nickname Captain Marvel. His career was illustrious but also full of pain with a series of serious injuries. He is considered the greatest captain in the history of the Red Devils before the Roy Keane era. After retiring, Robson achieved certain success when leading Middlesbrough and becoming head coach of the Thai national team. However, the biggest challenge in his life came from illness. He had to undergo surgery for throat cancer in 2011. With the same fighting spirit as on the field, he defeated death. The similarities between Robson on the pitch and off are undeniable. A Captain Marvel who never backed down from an opponent on the pitch was also a man who did not succumb to illness and the storms of life. He lived honestly, strongly, and was always a support for others. Today, at the age of 67, Bryan Robson is still the global ambassador for Manchester United. Although his hair is grey and his legs are not as agile, his eyes still burn with enthusiasm. He travels the world spreading the love of football, and the story of that 27-second goal is always a part of the heroic memory whenever people mention his name. Kenny Sansom, England's #1 left-back in 1982, was only 23 at the time but played with astonishing maturity, quick, skillful, and a master of reading situations. Sansom was a reliable stopper on the left flank, helping England keep almost perfect clean sheets. He is considered one of the best left-backs in English football history, a natural talent. However, Sansom's life after the glory days was a sad note. After his peak years with Arsenal, his career was dragged down by the ghost of alcoholism and gambling. From a millionaire on the football field, Sansom was homeless at times, sleeping in the park and losing contact with his family. His emaciated images in the newspapers once made fans feel sorry. It was a long battle. There were times when he seemed to have completely collapsed, then tried to get up to go to rehab, then relapsed. The contrast between Sansom on and off the pitch was heartbreaking. While he controlled the ball and his opponents perfectly on the pitch, he lost control of his own life in the face of temptation. A defensive genius, unable to defend his own life against the attacks of alcohol. Today, at 65, Kenny Sansom is still fighting a daily battle to find peace. He has made positive changes in his health since his recent near-death experiences. Although he no longer appears in public much, his story is a bitter warning, but also a reminder that as long as we are alive, we still have the chance to make amends and hope. Keegan, the brightest star and greatest hope of England at the 1982 World Cup. At the age of 31, the European Golden Ball winner was expected to lead the Three Lions to glory, but a terrible back injury kept him out of almost the entire tournament. Keegan only had time to play in the last 26 minutes of the decisive match against Spain, and his header that missed the post by inches in injury time became a symbolic moment of the unfinished England team that year. Only 26 short minutes, but they encapsulated the pain and helplessness of a genius. After the tournament, Keegan retired from the team but had a brilliant revival at club level with Newcastle United. After retiring, he became an emotional coach who created a Newcastle team, the Entertainers, who played the most attractive attacking football in Premier League history. Keegan's life was always full of emotions. He was a man who lived true to himself, once announcing his resignation in the bathroom or getting angry on TV for defending his students. Keegan was the embodiment of burning passion. Whether as a player or a coach, he always gave his all. The pain of 1982 seemed to have become the driving force for his later crazy dedication to football. He was a romantic artist, lost in the pragmatic world of football. Today, at the age of 73, Kevin Keegan has chosen a more reclusive life, away from the hustle and bustle of modern football. He spends his time writing books and occasionally appearing in intimate talks. Although no longer in the limelight, in the eyes of fans, the image of King Kev, with his wavy curly hair, is still a symbol of a romantic and emotional football era. Phil Thompson, the brain at the heart of the Three Lions defense at the 1982 World Cup. At the age of 28, he brought to Spain the composure and masterful reading of the game of a central defender from Liverpool, the team that dominated Europe at the time. Thompson was one of the few players to play the full 540 minutes of qualifying and 450 minutes of the finals without making any significant mistakes. With his characteristic hooked nose and slim but flexible body, he did not rely on physical strength to overwhelm the opponent, but used sharp tactical thinking to nip attacks in the bud. Leaving the pitch as one of Liverpool's most decorated players, Phil Thompson turned to coaching and made his mark as assistant to Gerard Houllier, helping Liverpool win the historic treble in 2001. However, modern audiences know him better as a passionate football pundit on Sky Sports for over 20 years. His hearty laughs and uncompromising, straightforward comments have become an indispensable spiritual food for English fans every weekend. There is an interesting consistency in Phil Thompson. On the pitch, he commands the defense with his shouts and reminders to his teammates. Off the pitch, he continues to use his voice to analyze and inspire football. He is a testament to the type of intelligent player who knows how to transform his experience on the pitch into profound knowledge. Today, at the age of 70, after retiring from television in 2020, Phil Thompson is enjoying a life of leisure. He still regularly appears at Anfield as a club ambassador, a living legend who is always respected and loved by the Cop fans. Terry Butcher, the symbol of youthful strength of the Three Lions defense at the 1982 World Cup. At the age of 23, Butcher was trusted by coach Ron Greenwood to start all 4 matches. And with a height of nearly 1.90 meters, he stood tall like a tower, not afraid of any collision, although not yet the supreme leader as in later years. At Espana 82, people saw the image of a suicide warrior, ready to use his body to shield the home team's goal. Butcher's later career was marked by the iconic image of blood in the 1989 match against Sweden. His head wrapped in a blood-stained white bandage, his shirt drenched in blood but still rushing into the fight. That image haunted him as he endured a turbulent coaching career from England to Scotland to Australia. Butcher's greatest battle, however, was not on the pitch, but the pain of losing his son. His son, Christopher, a former soldier, tragically passed away after failing to overcome PTSD from the battlefield. Butcher had to use his own steely spirit to guide his family through that terrible storm. Butcher's stubbornness on the pitch seemed to be a preparation for the harsh challenges he would face in life. He was a man who was never allowed to fall. Although the wound on his head might heal, the wound in his heart would always bleed. Today, at the age of 65, Terry Butcher is still involved in football through his work as a youth coach at the Ipswich Town Academy. He has dedicated his time to sharing his views on mental health and the struggles of veterans, turning his personal pain into motivation to help the community. He remains a symbol of courage, both in football and in life. Glenn Hoddle arrived at the 1982 World Cup at the age of 24, hailed as one of the rarest natural talents that English football had ever produced. Possessing magical feet and a tactical vision ahead of his time, Hoddle was expected to be the conductor. However, paradoxically, he was only allowed to play in 2 matches in that year's tournament, due to his flamboyant playing style, sometimes considered luxury in the pragmatic football philosophy of the English at that time. However, the minutes he was on the field still exuded the beauty of a lost artist, a player who played with his mind, not just his physical strength. After 1982, Hoddle's career flourished at Tottenham, and then AS Monaco under Arsene Wenger. He became England manager in 1996 with a charming, attacking football philosophy, but was later sacked for controversial comments on religion and reincarnation. His life has been a series of peaks and valleys. The most terrifying incident occurred on his 61st birthday in 2018. Hoddle suffered a sudden cardiac arrest in the BT Sports studio. He was clinically dead for several minutes, and only survived thanks to the timely rescue of a sound technician who knew first aid. The connection between Hoddle on and off the pitch is the fragility of beauty. On the pitch, his playing style is beautiful but picky. Off the pitch, his life also hung on a fragile thread. He is an artist always in search of perfection, although sometimes misunderstood by the world around him. Today, at 66, after returning from the brink of death, Glenn Hoddle appreciates every breath of life. He still appears on television as a pundit, but with a more gentle and peaceful mind. His story is a lesson in miraculous rebirths, and a reminder that no matter how talented you are, health and life are the most precious things. Steve Coppell arrived at the 1982 World Cup at the age of 26, the prime age of a player's life. He was a whirlwind on the right wing of Manchester United and the Three Lions. Not possessing the flashy South American technique, Coppell won fans over with his speed, endurance, and precise crosses. In Spain that year, he played in 4 matches, playing a total of 360 minutes, always a reliable drill, quietly plowing to create space for his teammates to shine. He was the embodiment of diligence, a luxury worker that every coach craved. However, fate seems to be jealous of the talents in their prime. Just a year after the football festival in Spain, Coppell's career was shattered by a horrific knee injury in a match against Hungary. All efforts at surgery and recovery were in vain, and he was forced to hang up his boots before he was 29 years old. The wings of the Three Lions were broken in the deep blue sky. However, Coppell did not let that tragedy overwhelm him. With a degree in economics from the University of Liverpool, a rarity among footballers, he quickly turned to coaching. He became one of the youngest coaches in the history of the highest league in England when he led Crystal Palace, and then created a miracle with Reading. Coppell's career was a straight line that abruptly broke, but was followed by a more intellectual path. On the pitch, he ran tirelessly. On the bench, he thought relentlessly. His calm, quiet, intellectual demeanor was a strange contrast to the noisy world of football. Today, at the age of 68, Steve Coppell has retired from the spotlight, having worked as a director of football and an advisor to teams in England and India. He lives a private life, away from the media, but in the memories of those who loved Manchester United and England in the 1980s, the image of the blonde midfielder with his wind-splitting runs is always a beautiful but sad memory of an incomplete talent. Graham Rix, the unsung hero on the left flank of England at the 1982 World Cup. At the age of 24, he was an irreplaceable name in all 5 matches, and it was Rix who made the decisive pass for Bryan Robson to score a historic goal in the 27th second against France. Being part of Arsenal, Rix possesses a good left foot, skillful technique, and excellent ability to create. He was an important link, a quiet but effective setter, helping the machine that coach Ron Greenwood built to run smoothly throughout the tournament. However, Graham Rix's life behind the football field is a film full of contrasting dark and light colors. After leaving Arsenal and spending his playing years in France and Scotland, Rix entered a coaching career. But then, a shocking incident happened in 1999, when he got into trouble with the law for a sex scandal involving a minor. He was sentenced to 12 months in prison, a stain that seemed to put an end to all honor. From the peak of fame, Rix fell into the abyss of criticism and estrangement. But Rix's story is also about the effort to find himself again after falling. After serving his prison term, he persevered to start over, from small teams, facing public opinion, to continue living with his career. The contrast in Rix's life is ironic. On the field in 1982, he was the one creating chances for his teammates. But in real life, he ruined his own chances with his own mistakes. He is proof that the line between hero and villain can sometimes be frighteningly thin. Today, at the age of 66, Graham Rix is still involved in football, mainly working at lower levels or grassroots football. Although he is no longer mentioned much in the mainstream media as a legend, he is still alive, still working and redeeming his past mistakes with a quiet dedication to his only passion in life. Tony Woodcock arrived in Spain in 1982 at the age of 26, carrying with him the prestigious C1 championship with Nottingham Forest. At that year's World Cup, although he only played 2 matches and started 1 time, Woodcock still left an impression of a modern striker. Agile, intelligent and versatile. Unlike the classic English striker, Woodcock could play wide, moved flexibly, and possessed a continental European style of play, which helped him later become one of the most successful English players when playing abroad. Indeed, Woodcock's career is the journey of a great adventurer. After Nottingham Forest and Arsenal, he had brilliant years in Germany with FC Köln. He perfectly integrated into the culture and disciplined playing style of the German people, becoming an idol there. After retiring, Woodcock did not choose the thorny path of coaching but turned to business and media. He founded a sports management company, participated in digital media projects, and became a successful businessman. His life is a model of adaptation and sustainable success, quiet but extremely certain. There is a strong link between Woodcock's on-field role and his off-field life. Intelligence and adaptability. On the pitch, he knows how to find space to score. In business, he knows how to find opportunities to grow. He does not allow himself to be confined within the borders of England or the confines of a mere retired footballer. Today, at 68, Tony Woodcock is enjoying a fulfilling life. He still travels between England and Germany, does commentary, and runs his own business. He represents a generation of footballers who have the foresight to prepare for a bright future even after the stadium lights have gone out.